Okay, howdy folks. We are back. We're going to do a follow-up video on our cleanup machines, cleanup week machines. Are they any good? Realistically, this is the carburetor. Now, we'll get to a video on the machine when the weather gets a little bit better. Right now, we're getting pummeled with snow. This is the carburetor off that machine. Now, at the time, I couldn't source a rebuild kit for this carburetor because they were out of stock of them at the local mower shop. The thing is that these carburetors are rebuildable. The actual original Tecumseh Power carburetors are very rebuildable, and if you do it right, these can be rebuilt hundreds of times. Okay, now realistically, after you do the rebuild, you shouldn't have to rebuild it for quite a while if you follow a few simple steps. Number one, especially with the snow blowers, shut the fuel off to shut them off. Make them run out of fuel, okay? That knob that's underneath your gas tank, turn that to the off position and let it run out of fuel. Don't push it down and just cut spark off. These carburetors, for some reason, they like to develop hydrolocking issues within the units themselves, and I've seen it more on the snowblowers than the actual lawn tractors, and I think there's a big reason for that is that you got to remember that this isn't a hot box. Okay, this carburetor sits in a hot box. This actually gets heated by the exhaust temps as you're using the unit, as compared to the lawn tractors where this sits out in the open. So it's getting thermals, but it's not getting the same shifting thermals that these carburetors are seeing, just because of usage. Another big thing is I know that there's going to be people out there that say, oh, I'm an idiot, blah blah blah. I run premium fuel in my frickin' machines because I don't want to have the ethanol eating the inside of these carburetors. And I'll tell you this much, I have used 87 before. It works, it works fine. It's just that, for that added protection, the 91 octane fuel without the ethanol seems to work a little bit better. Now, that's the case scenario for me. For you, it could be completely different. The ethanol could be actually working to help keep your fuel system dry. So there is the catch-22 to the 87 octane with the ethanol. So with that said, a few things we're going to need. We're going to need some Torx stuff. I got the Tecumseh carburetor tool out. Screwdrivers. Now, you gotta remember, folks, these are actually SAE. I know with everything else going metric nowadays, it's quite hard to believe. Now, these carburetors. Let's tear into this one. Let's see what the hell's going on with it. Okay. Now, if all you have is metric. Try and find yourself a looser 11 mil to get this bowl nut off, because I've taken the icon, and if you ram the icon 11 mil on, it goes on, but just barely. Now, you want to get that off so that you can actually get it off. Okay. Yeah, this main jet. Okay, that's rust. Now, before I've really only taken the main jet out. Oh boy. Yeah, that's why we weren't running at all, folks. That passage is blocked up in there real tight. So, the moment of truth. Whoa! That looks like it's been beat on with a hammer. This carburetor, we'll try and rebuild it, but wow. Wow. I've never seen this float smashed like that. And I mean, this is the original bowl. So whatever the heck kind of fuel this person was running in this thing beat the crap out of the float. Can I even get the float pin to move? Oh, no. No, float pin is not moving. So, well, at least the float moves. And yeah, the needle inside is moving with it. So if we can get that pin to move, yeah, we can get the entire carburetor apart. Now, realistically, folks, I've already got the unit running, okay? I've got the unit running. I just went and ordered a Chinese knockoff carburetor. Okay, I actually have the unit running, and it runs very well, and that's something that we'll get into in another video. But yeah, that bowl gasket's hard. And I just cut the primer line off this, essentially, because this was not coming off. And actually they had this line zip tied, which tells me that they were having problems with this carburetor already. So I'm gonna take, let's start with the choke, because that choke lever actually gets in the way of a lot of things. We're gonna throw some magic juice on that. Okay, magic juice is working. Let's what would that be, a T10? T10's a little sloppy. How about a T15? Nope, we'll do the T10. So, yeah. Oh, that screw is really stuck, folks. This screw is like, yeah, I'm probably going to strip this thing out before I actually get it to maneuver out. Okay. That's the choke plate. We'll clean that up because, yeah. Choke shaft. Now we can start looking down inside the bore of the carb. Carburetor bore is not looking that clean either. Is this carburetor savable? That's the question, I guess. So, yes, it is good to have clean fuel running through your equipment at all times. And yes, that statement that says run the darn thing out of fuel in your owner's manual. Yeah, this is what happens to your carburetor. Now, if it says EFI on the darn unit, that means that it's got electronic fuel injection. Now, that is something of a different breed of an animal. You really don't want to run that out of fuel because you can burn up a few parts. Now we got the choke, the throttle blade out. There's, and I'm gonna go put these on the buffer, and it's gonna clean up these parts real well. Yeah, we're looking at that. Now we can fully look down the bore from one end of the carburetor to the other. And we can actually see where the shafts go in. The shafts, I wouldn't say that they're too terribly bad. I'd say they need to be cleaned, lubricated, and little PM work done on them. The one part that I am still questioning is this pin, because the pin, if it can't come out, then the carburetor's actually no good. You know, you can't perform any of the serviceability parts of the carburetor because there is a Welch plug right underneath right here that you got to take that out. If you're going to fully reman this carburetor, you have to take that Welch plug out. You know, and in the book they tell you just whack it out with a cold chisel, and you got to take this side plug out to get both to, well, this is part of your idle circuit, this is part of your fuel distribution circuit. Now, I've seen the Chinese carburetors where they don't even have one of these Welch plugs in here. I don't know how the heck they actually work, but I do know that they're running more of a Briggs and Stratton style needle and seat setup, because with them you replace the sleeve. With these, you replace the Teflon seal that's at the bottom. You don't have a sleeve that goes in. Okay, we've got the idle jet out. Now there should be a brass washer and an O-ring. Now the brass washer always goes on the outside of the O-ring. The O-ring goes in first. Pluck that out. Where's my tool? Where's my carburetor tool? Yeah, and that's why the carburetor tool is so necessary. This is a 2.25 millimeter boy crochet needle that they actually shove onto the end of these, but it works perfect. Crochet needles actually do work wonders. And I know my wife is gonna kill me for calling it a crochet needle because she's like, "Oh, that's for lace." Okay. Yeah, that pin is immovable at this point in the game. I mean, it still holds back pressure. It's just how good's this float? I mean, if it's caved in like this, something bad's went on with this carburetor. You know, they don't typically just do that over running. I mean, I've had to rebuild some carburetors 2 or 3 times, and folks, I've never seen it that bad. Well, there we just want some parts, but you know, I've never seen it this bad. And I mean, I get it. Where I live, we get the worst fuel in the nation. Well, now I gotta start moving. Now can we go back? Alright. Get a little bit of magical juice on there. And I'm just gonna start working this back and forth, folks. Right here on camera, you know. Come for a carburetor video, you stay for the whacking. Okay, there we go. Now is the pin gonna come out? Nope. Nope. Let's get a pair of pliers on this. Okie dokie. There we go. And yeah, actually the seat and the needle, folks, look very good. Is this savable though? I'm not hearing that piece in there move. You know, I'm not hearing it move, and that's kind of the big thing on the idle circuit, is to hear it move. So we've got it all scraped up, and we're just going to remove the gasket here gently. Now, I've wrecked enough stuff in my life that I know how it feels. before I actually get, you know, major scratches. So, and realistically, even if I was to push this carburetor back into surface, I would not use this gasket. You know, it's old, it's dried out, it's already been glued to something. So, yeah, if I press this carburetor back into surface, it's getting new parts. So, yeah. We are now in the phase of what do we do with it? I'm actually going to leave this one up to you folks. If you want to see me rebuild it, then I will rebuild it. You know, the reband kits don't cost a lot, but it's the big reason why the Chinese carburetors are so nice to have is the fact that you know, they're already set up, and you know, they cost as much as the reman kits, and you know, it's a brand new carburetor. So yep, we're looking at, I guess, waiting on parts and seeing what you folks actually think. So yeah, this is kind of what happened to that engine. The carburetor seized up. There's nothing that motor could have done to make this carburetor work in that condition. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe. You know, we do a lot of wacky stuff on this channel. So subscribe, show the love. So yeah, I think I'm going to end it here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.